We'll get into odds for next year's Super Bowl here coming up in a few minutes. Some things to address here. Before we do that, though, I wanted to point out, look, we're getting reaction today, guys. Please talk about what happened to William Hill. Yeah. The sportsbook William Hill, it was down pretty much all day yesterday. In fact, it's still down. I feel bad for him. I do. It must be where they have so many books out here and across the country that it's too much traffic. And they couldn't. Something happened with the app and technology, and they couldn't handle it all. You think William Hill wants to be down the whole day? Of course not.
Oh.
And that stinks. And I feel bad for them. I feel bad for bettors who use that book. They have awesome in play, so that's good for nobody involved. I don't want any book to go through that on Super Bowl Sunday. That stinks. And this is from Logic3227 on Twitter. Points out, did okay betting the game last night. Not my best Super Bowl, but I made some money. Yet I still woke up this morning feeling like I lost. That's how I know the officiating was bad. We all got robbed of a potentially great ending.
Yeah. Yep. I understand the frustration. It's a horrible way to end the season.
Yeah.
And it could have been an all-time ending. And maybe with overtime involved, too. Good chance. But it's if you watch the entire game closely, and a former player, and you're saying they were allowing that to go on for much of the game, and now they call it bad job, Jeffers. But I just don't know why he would grab him there.
Yeah,
why? It's so blatant in front of everybody. He's got a fistful of jersey there.
People are pointing out,
and he said, that's the other thing. He owned it afterwards. He says, "Yeah, I held him. I tugged the jersey. I was hoping they let it slide."
Yeah. He owned up to it. I pointed out that the reason why I hated it is because Mahomes was clearly throwing the ball away, and it was 100% uncatchable. I said earlier, Randy Moss is not going to catch that ball. It's not going to happen. People are pointing out that Mahomes saw the hole. That's why he was throwing it to that side of the field. I don't know.
Okay. Well, the other thing was Pereira had it right, but Olsen said, no, you can't call that. It's a Super Bowl.
Olsen said that,
but Pereira was saying, wait a second, we need a longer look here.
Yes.
Because they were missing the tug of the jersey, which Pereira had. So I'll give him credit there. But in light of what happened in the AFC title game, and then this happens again, Kansas City was living right. Oh, they were living right.
They certainly were. if the Bengals game goes another quarter, like Billy Walter said last week here on VSiN, Chiefs probably lose the game if it goes to overtime.
Well, certainly the calls that went against them, though, too.
Yeah.
The do-over.
The do-over was just absolutely absurd. That's the call where they got it basically five things wrong.
They got away with a hold on Mahomes' run.
Yeah, the intentional grounding.
The intentional grounding on Burrow, I know. So, but they won it. Congratulations. So what do you early thoughts next year? What are you looking at? Now, I will say this from a scheduling standpoint. Let's do it again. Let's start the season with a bang. The Chiefs host the Eagles next year. Let's do it.
Oh, would they do that?
Why not?
I hope so, but would they schedule a Super Bowl rematch?
They also host the Bills again.
Oh, that might be the game.
How many years in a row is that? So KC has Philly, Cincinnati, and Buffalo at home. Those are your candidates. No Chargers. That's enough of that. It's always been a good game, but we did that in week 2 this past season.
We don't need that.
I would start it with KC and Philly.
Oh, they have to go a non-divisional game.
Yeah.
With one of the powerhouse opponents that they have on the schedule.
Yeah. And I won't complain if it's the Bills, although the Bills just started on the Thursday night this year.
No, it's fine.
Going to Los Angeles, but sure.
I'd take Bills Chiefs in a heartbeat.
Okay.
Sign me up for that right now. If they want to do that. If they want to, I think they probably save that for a primetime game like in November. It'll be, I think, Eagles Chiefs on a Monday night game or potentially a Sunday night game.
Remember, you can flex now late in the year.
Yeah, they can.
The Monday night you can flex, and Goodell talked about Thursday night as well. Chiefs are the favorites. You see 2024 now. Bills right behind them. Then you have the Niners. How will Purdy do in year 2? And coming off the injury, certainly have to respect the Bengals. And as Gable said, the Eagles 9-1 at Borgata, and then you see 9-1 at most places too. But the jokes yesterday with the Dak, that's the only way Dak will get to a Super Bowl. The Philly fans booing him for Walter Payton Man of the Year. Oh, God.
Oh. I missed that. It's funny.
Yeah. Oh, man. So the Cowboys 14-1. No way. Big Mike calling the plays. Can't get there. The Charger hype again. Sure, why not? I'm taking a look at the Ravens. Now, they tag Lamar and then they trade him. What happens? Can they work this out? If they have that same defense, and why not, right? But as nasty as that defense was, Now, if I can get a healthy Lamar Jackson,
I will fall for the Ravens again.
sure. And what do you want to do with the Jets?
I already bet them at 45-1.
See what happens with Rodgers now.
Does he enter the 4-day cave today?
And I think that starts, yeah.
Yeah.
And he emerges from the cave and then decide what he's going to do.
The retreat to 1,426 the year? Living like a caveman? Okay.
Huh? Lions are going to be a sexy pick. Very trendy pick.
Yeah,
no doubt about it.
That's too sexy.
30-1. No, need better than that. Although they definitely can win that division.
Jacksonville and Detroit, too sexy, in my opinion. I don't want 28-1 or 30-1.
Uh-huh.
Although I could see if you can find better than 30-1 on the Lions, I could actually see that team being a version of this year's Eagles team. Right? Because if Rodgers goes away, I mean, even if Rodgers comes back to Green Bay, that team is not that great. They're not in that great of hands. The Vikings, I think everybody anticipates that team to take a major step back next year.
Right.
The Bears need a ton of help.
Yep.
So in theory, that division can absolutely be had, which means their schedule will be somewhat easier. And, I mean, 40, 50, I would be enticed if I could find the Lions at 50-1. I really would be, which I don't think that number is going to exist anywhere.
Yeah. What do you want to do with Miami? The unknown with Tua. Now, you did hire...
I think they have too many holes.
You did hire Fangio. How was that allowed, by the way? That's allowed? Fangio was hired by the Eagles to game plan for 2 weeks?
Yeah.
I guess it didn't work.
It's a good question.
That's weird.
So you gotta if you're gonna pick a team from the AFC, I think you need to be careful about which team you go with here. Because look, I mean, we could talk about the Browns today at 40-1, or maybe even better, expecting Deshaun Watson to not look like he did in the short sample size that we had. Maybe he bounces back and turns back into a top 5 quarterback again, and the defense regresses to the norm. And they play well because they have talent on that side of the ball. But again, you're picking the Browns in a conference where it's scattered with other great powerhouses. I think if you look at a team right now, why not the NFC? And you can cross team again. Like you said, Cowboys. No, thank you. I don't want the Cowboys.
Right.
I don't want the Packers. I don't want the Rams. So I think you can cross off a bunch of teams, and you know what? When the dust settles, I think maybe the Lions are the team that you fall on.
Well, we just had a team that was 2 plays away from doing this, a couple plays away rather, but 40-1 with the Eagles. Could there be another team that comes? I don't want to say out of nowhere because they were a playoff team the previous year, but takes that jump at a good price in that range.
I think it might be. I think it actually. Yeah. I'm talking myself into to Detroit here. I don't want to do the Giants. You're putting a lot of faith there in Daniel Jones.
Right.
And then in the AFC, you got, okay, which team has, what we watched again last night with Mahomes, which team has the best chance to play Kansas City and beat them, potentially at Arrowhead in the playoffs? Do you want to tie up money on the Bills at 7-1? I don't know if I want to do that. I still think the Bengals have the best chance to beat them.
What if Peyton can get Wilson on track?
I could buy into that.
The defense was so good, right?
Yeah.
I mean, all they had to do was score 17 points in these games, 20 points, and they couldn't do it.
Yeah. You have to have full faith that what we watched, just throw away this last year.
Uh-huh.
Right? You need to treat the Broncos like the Eagles after beating the 49ers and all that crap went wrong for San Francisco. Just throw it away. It means nothing. You have to throw this season away for the Broncos if you want to make, and that you can get there. You can probably get there with that idea.
Yeah.
You're going to have a lot of faith in Wilson going back to the guy who he was in Seattle, and that can happen. Can Peyton make it work? Why not? Guy is really, really good as a head coach. And when Drew Brees came out and said he will absolutely get the best version of Russell Wilson possible, what you said right away, we had major question marks about Brees in San Diego.
Absolutely. Right? And the Eagles are going to lose some people, but that's going to be a hell of a team next year, too. I mean, Hurts was dynamite. And so was that offense.
It was really good.
And the O-line, so.
Yep. We're getting feedback right now. Josh says he likes Jacksonville at 28-1. Jacksonville's going to be good next year in that division.
And they get Ridley.
Yep.
Ridley comes off the suspension.
Yep. Jake says he bet the Raiders at 40-1 completely based on Rodgers. I still don't like the Raiders if they get him. I did that with the Jets. I bet them at 45-1 because they appear to be like, let's make it happen.
Absolutely. Jets would be dangerous with Rodgers and that defense.
Tripp is asking the question, who's the third best team in the NFC? Eagles first, Niners second, then who?
Who's the third best team?
I'll go Lions.
Yeah, based on how they closed.
Yep.
Yeah, to go into Lambeau when you're eliminated and still win that game.
I still think the Cowboys are good, but I just don't want them to win the Super Bowl.
Visit VSiN.com to get current odds, listen for free, find showtimes, and download VSiN sports betting podcasts.